brother. He's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bit.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me.
Alright, let's get you out of there.
Without warning, plunges the knife into his victim in an unprovoked attack. Even Arena doesn't seem to realize how badly wounded she is.
You know, I think AI will probably, most likely sort of lead to the end of the world.
Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
Data center bet goes wrong. The downside is giving the government the power of...
Back. So, hey, long time no see, guys. Welcome to my crib. Yeah, I'm a homeowner now, as the title, as you guys saw, the bank bought me a house. Why do you say that, Isaac? Why do you say the bank bought you a house? Well, I say that because it's not my money that bought this house. I'm not going to disclose the actual price. We'll say hypothetically $800,000, right? It's not my $800,000. I don't have $800,000 in my bank account. The bank does. Does the bank though? We'll get into that in a minute. Bought my house. I've been super busy, just figuring out life. Any of my veteran guys out there, honestly, if you feel like you just aren't figuring things out, you feel like it's a little bit tough, like it's just not working out, give it some time. For 8 months, I was literally going insane. Like, all I could do was look into Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, and I still do that, but now I'm like, have more of like a foundation to do things on. It's nice to have your own launching pad, your own house. Guys, the market's horrible right now. It really is. Rent is super, super high, and so are the house prices. This house was way more than what it should have been. However, that's the case with every single house. But mindset, right? So if I rent a house, I'm just throwing $1,500, $2,000 a month away into someone else's pocket. If I buy a house, yeah, mortgage is whatever, 14, 15, plus my utilities and all that. But if I can sell the house down the road for the same price I bought it for, guess what? I get all my money back if you really think about it, besides interest and utilities and stuff like that, but who cares about that? You gotta spend money to make money. And the best part about having a house, I can just buy things like a $22 Black Rifle Company coffee because it has George Washington on it. Pretty based, right? Yeah, so I've been very busy. It's gonna be really loud out here, by the way, so I'm gonna speak up. I bought a whiteboard, guys, right? I bought a whiteboard. I'm gonna bring this, let's go over here. Come right here. You guys are with the cameraman, right? I'm trying to do this all in one take if you guys can't tell. We're talking about U.S. money supply, right? So this is a lecture by Isaac Telford, okay? So, U.S. money supply. Isaac, what do you mean by U.S. money supply? Well, I mean all the money in circulation, all the numbers that are in all of your bank accounts, right? My bank account, Connor's bank account, Evan's bank account, all the bank accounts of the people driving by right now, all those numbers all added up, it equates around, I forgot to write it down, I just realized that. I think it's like 28 trillion. I'm an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Anyways, what I'm trying to get to, it's like 28 trillion, okay? Only 10% of that, 10.8% of that is actual hard cash, right? So 89.2% of the money in circulation is non-cash, therefore it's not real. It's just a number on a screen. Terrifying, right? Well, hey, let's get more terrifying. Of that 10.8% of hard cash, only 6% of that is actually in the United States. The other 4.8% is located offshores by billionaires and 100 millionaires, right? They put all their money offshore to avoid taxes. So only 6% of the total money supply is actual hard cash. So let's say like shit hit the fan, right? I was trying not to cuss, messed up, my bad. If stuff hit the fan, right, what would happen, Isaac? Well, if we all went to the bank to try to pool our money like they did in the Great Depression, what's gonna happen is the bank's not gonna have our money for us, leads to more turmoil, right? So only 6 cents of every American dollar is hard cash within our country's borders. That sucks. Let's talk about the next. It's upside down. Anyways, it's a new whiteboard, okay? I'm very proud of this thing. Isaac's scale of independent thought, otherwise known as Common sense. Here I have a chart where we have the liberal left on the far left and we have the conservative right on the far right. So, if you guys know me, I think that magtards and I think liberals and magtards are like the same kind of people. Truly, I truly believe that. You know, so on the left, right, and I can speak of this from experience, right? I attended 2 No Kings protests undercover. I saw the level of intellect that we're dealing with on the liberal left. There's no intellect, truly. I mean, there's no independent thought. It's just a bunch of zombies. And if you're a liberal that attends No Kings protests, hey, sorry to hurt your feelings. Maybe you could have changed my mind. No one there changed my mind. They were all pretty dumb. So right here, to explain this chart, we have blindly obedient as demonstrated by the filled in black, and we have independent thinkers as displayed by the little dots, right? So guys, we want to be independent thinkers. We don't want to be blindly obedient. That would mean that we are dumb. I'm going to use nicer words than I used to use. So on the liberal left, it's very clear, and it has been this way for decades now, that most of the liberal left is blindly obedient. They really don't care about policies. They don't really care about anything except for what CNN and Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, they don't care about anything except for what they're told to care about, right? All they need is an oppressor, and boom, they have an agenda. That's why they go from one oppressor to the next, right? That's how the liberal left operates. So you have very few independent thinkers on the left. Very few. A majority of the liberal left is blindly obedient to the left. They'll vote for the left no matter what. Even if the left smack them in the face, like what's happening on the right now, the left would still vote for them. However, let me talk about the right now. We have the same thing happening on the right. I have a lot of family members, and I have a lot of people that I know, especially out here in rural America, where we have the Republican right, the conservative right, and I put that in quotes because the Republican Party is not that conservative in all honesty, right? I think we can all agree upon that. What you've been able to see in recent times, right, especially with, for instance, the Iran war, is there's a large majority of the conservative right, usually the boomer generation, the older generation of people that are blindly obedient to Trump. They essentially worship Trump like a god, much like the liberal left worships whoever is in charge of the liberal left. They're becoming blindly obedient to Donald Trump. Listen, I voted for Trump. I was hoping that Trump would drain the swamp. Instead of draining the swamp, he held back the Epstein files, said they didn't exist, then they released, and they definitely existed. We're now in war with Iran. He's gone back on all of his promises. He said he was gonna have mass deportations. I'll be honest, guys, I wanted more deportations than what are happening. They're not happening, okay? Instead, we just have a couple ICE incidents. The news is all over them, and it's some bad stuff happening. Anyways, tangent. All right, I gotta wrap this up. I'm trying to do this in one take. But on the conservative right, you have these magtards that are blindly obedient to Trump. However, what the conservative right has is more independent thinkers. And a majority of these independent thinkers are people of our age demographic. People that are able to call out a flaw when it's a flaw, right? Hey, Trump's not doing a good job. Trump's not living up to what his promises were. So we're gonna call him out for that. What happens is when I call out Trump for his mistakes, immediately, oh, you're a liberal. Actually, no, buddy, I'm way more conservative than you. There's a reason I'm not flying the flag that we have in the country right now, and a reason I'm flying the 13 colonies flag. Don't mind those flags, right? Those are irrelevant. I was there on deployment, okay? Through all the wokeness of the 2010s and 2020s, the Marine Corps stayed true to itself, right? Now, granted, there was still some woke stuff, but the Marine Corps stayed true to itself. And that's what I love about the Marine Corps. As sucky as it was, they stayed true to themselves. We didn't get woke, at least not where I was. It happened some other places, but not as bad as the Army, Air Force, and Navy. Y'all got super woke, and Space Force, whatever that is. Yeah. Anyways, 13 colonies, right? 13 colony flag. Our founding fathers that established this very flag right here, if they saw what was happening in this country right now, they would have already revolutionized. I can tell you that for a fact. I know that, okay? What's happening in this country is borderline tyrannical. And I'm not just speaking on the Trump administration. I'm talking on the last, 12 administrations, right? The past 100 years, ever since the Federal Reserve Act, it's been tyrannical, and we've been bought out by corporations, right? So how do we fix this, Isaac? Well, we need a crusade. We need a Christian nationalist crusade. Wow, you just said Christian nationalist. You must be extreme. Hey, if loving Jesus Christ and thinking that Jesus Christ is the way is extreme, hey, call me an extremist then. I guess I am. Anyways, that was way too long. I'm sorry. If you're still watching this video, guys, shout out to you. I haven't done YouTube in a while. I'm not as good at this stuff as I used to be. Anyways, so let's take a time out real quick while I eat my ice cream. Because I'm weak and undisciplined. A little bit of what I just said was a little bit mean. I didn't mean to call everyone dumb. Because to be quite frank, I'm equally as dumb as many of you watching this. So let me fix my words. The magtards and the liberals, you guys aren't dumb. You're just lost in the sauce. And hey, there's times where I'm lost in the sauce too. We all get lost in the sauce, right? So yeah, I just want to correct myself. I got to calm down a little bit. I'm very opinionated, but I'm opinionated because I care about this stuff and I research it. And hey, if you care about this stuff and you actually research it properly and you do your due diligence to understand it, you can be opinionated too. But my perception is if you do your actual research, you'll come to the same conclusions I come to. But once again, I'm not everybody. I'm just Isaac Telford. You're your own self. So my disk space is about to run out of my SD card, so I'll take my last bite and then it's gonna cut. But I'll see you tomorrow. In terms of militias, it is hard to distinguish organized from regulated. The concept of a group of law-abiding men who are capable of bearing arms and defending their community from tyranny or danger does not necessarily have to fall into a militia category. It can be referred to simply as law-abiding citizens capable of protecting what is theirs by means protected by the government under the Constitution of lawful self-defense. So I'm currently doing a self-study where I kind of dive into a bunch of different areas. So week 1 is all about constitutional, a constitutional basis, understanding some of the key amendments. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. I'm also on Friday diving heavily into the Civil War and what caused the secession of the South from the North. I'm going beyond what the schools talk about of just slavery, right? There's much more to the Civil War than just slavery. I think there's actually an argument to be made that the Confederates were some of the most American Americans we've ever had. It was the most militarized and patriotic society of Americans there ever has been. And they ultimately seceded from the government because their way of life was being attacked by the federal government, which was not supposed to happen. Now, that does not justify slavery, absolutely not. However, we have to acknowledge that times were different then. It wasn't just the Confederates that were using slavery in the world. All over the world during that period of time, there was slavery going on. Slavery was starting to be abolished throughout the West, and then eventually, obviously, in America, it was abolished. But in many other parts of the world, it was never abolished. And to this day, there are many parts of the world that it's still not abolished. And I'd argue that slavery is still a thing. It's just a little bit different. It's not wearing chains or working in the cotton fields. It's more of a thing called debt slavery. We're told to go buy a brand new car that's 3 times the amount of money that we have in our savings account. Anyways, the constitutional series is going really good. It's fantastic, and I'm going super deep into the Second Amendment today. And I ask any of you that may think that they should take away our guns this question right here. If you think that we shouldn't have guns and the government should take them, I ask you, do you trust the government? Do you trust Trump? Because often, and I ask that because most of the time it's liberals who are saying that we should take the guns away. Do you trust Trump? And if you don't, then why would you want him to have all of your guns? Hey, I know you don't need a 30-round magazine to hunt a deer, okay? But that's not why 30-round magazines were created in the first place. They were created to fight organized militaries, and in our case, a tyrannical government. That's why the Second Amendment was put in place. If you read the Federalist Papers, number 46 especially, James Madison, who was an author of the Constitution, speaks heavily on the importance of armed citizenry to fight against tyrannical governments, which is exactly what they had to deal with, which is exactly why we have this flag that we have today. Anyways, I'm starving. I have to go get a haircut too. What are you doing? By the way, she pooped on the floor this morning and then proceeded to knock a bin of donuts off of the countertop and ate about 6 full-size donuts. So that's why she's going on a run. She's gonna run her donuts off. Come on, she's already doing it. Hey, how you doing? Good, it's going good. All right, we'll see you around. Take it easy. Probably shouldn't have put that in the video, but hey, he's a foreign leader. What's the problem with that? It's like me saying I want to shoot Kim Jong-un. Don't arrest me, FBI, please. No worries. He's just for show. I'm just shooting Epstein. I'm actually shooting BB. Besides, who's BB anyways? I've never heard of that guy. plus or negative world. Very well. I'll let you guys decide. Don't worry, it's airsoft, you idiots. Come on. Remember guys, remember, height over bore. So you gotta aim at the forehead, all right? Come on now. Marksmanship instructor, what can I say? Just kidding, they're our allies. We're good people. I'm not actually that mean, okay? Anyway, side note for you guys. Clear condition 4. Always clear weapons, even if they're airsoft, guys. Come on. Bought this book because I'm going over my constitutional stuff. Common Sense, it came in yesterday. Read a little bit this morning. But look how cool it is. See the gold? Can you see that? Wait. Tell me that's not fire. Super fire. The great Peter Thiel once described in his own book that a successful corporation is much like a cult. Now, there's some truth to this. We oftentimes think that the most successful people, celebrities, that they aren't religious at all, right? We look around and see people like Bieber, Diddy, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, etc., etc. We think that they're just not religious, right? Because they don't talk about their faith outwardly, and they're definitely not a Christian judging by their actions. You couldn't be farther from wrong on the fact that they're not religious. They are very religious, but to false gods. Let me explain this to you, right? So up here represents eternity, right? We have heaven up here. This is God's kingdom. This is the true Israel, the kingdom of God in heaven. And then we have the world right here. We have the massive world, right? This world is really just a testing place to see if we deserve heaven or not. So we have the world here. Now who's the ruler of the world? Satan, of course. He's the king of the world. God said, you know what, Satan, you can have the world. Test my people for me. Let's see if they're able to get to heaven, right? What successful corporations have is money, power. They have all the girls. They have all the fancy things. They're very materialistic. The very rich people like Peter Thiel, like Bill Gates, like MGK, Katy Perry. All of these people, right? Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, etc., etc., etc. They all have everything that you could ever want in this life, right? Very seldomly do you see Christians who are billionaire, trillionaire people like, you don't see that very often. Now, why is that? Well, maybe because if you offer sacrifices to Satan, and what is a sacrifice to Satan? A sacrifice to Satan is giving up your spot in eternity for minute pleasures here. So, I'm a Christian. I want to go to heaven. So I'm willing to give up my materialistic pleasures that are on this earth for a spot in eternity. Eternity is eternity. This earth is about 80 years, right? Give or take. Some people longer, some people much shorter. So if I start worshiping the Satan, I start making sacrifices, whether in the form of my own morality, or children, or all of the above evil things that you guys are all tracking on, Satan will give me the world. Right? It's very easy to fall into our fleshly desires, lustful temptations, gluttony. It's easy to fall into these things. We are in a fallen state of sin. We want to fall into these things. The only thing that keeps us from doing that is our internal morality, which was established by God long before the 10 Commandments, and then the Commandments came along, and then Jesus Christ came along, kind of like another poke in the back, like, hey, you better listen to the rules, and yet we still don't listen to the rules because we are fallen in nature. But that is why we're here. We're here to be tested to see if we deserve heaven, the true Israel, the kingdom of God. So guys like Peter Thiel, he's exactly right. Successful corporations, these greedy corporations where they, like BlackRock, where they spike the prices of houses and buy out the market, or act like they actually care about people and don't actually care about people. It's not that they're not religious, it's that they're worshiping Satan. They are devil worshippers, the occult, the cabal. They worship Satan, and in return, Satan gives them the world. He gives them power, money, girls, a lavish lifestyle, all the materials that one could ever want. Meanwhile, us who have morals, some of us, we can attain parts of the world if we work hard enough, but ultimately what we truly work to attain is a spot in eternity. That is the goal. That is the Christian life. Now, this is a lifelong journey, mind you. I don't know if I am saved. People like to throw around the word, I'm saved. Are you saved? Good question, brother. I don't know. I'm not the judge, but I'm trying. And I fall short every single day. That's why it's a lifelong journey. I was saved, I'm being saved, and I will be saved. That is the mindset we must approach every day with. So next time someone tries to tell you, well, the most successful people aren't religious, yeah, they are, buddy. They're just worshiping evil things. Just take a look at the Epstein files, right? Child sacrifice. It happened, all right? It's still happening. God bless you. God bless America. And listen, there's a revival going on right now, but with that revival, we must also initiate the reformation. Though we can come to Christ and understand Christ, it is important that once we come to Christ, that we adopt the ways of Christ and live a life accordingly. So yeah, that's it. Like my drawing, I thought it was pretty cool. Hope you guys can even see it. You can't, it's super sad anyways.